Introducing God's Learning Channel's brand new Amazon bookstore, your gateway to a world of wisdom and faith. Our Amazon bookstore offers a remarkable collection of dozens of hand-picked items, carefully curated to enrich your spiritual journey. From a wide selection of traditional Christian and Jewish Bibles to Judaica treasures, biblical holiday merchandise, and even beautiful jewelry. Our Amazon bookstore has it all. Conveniently shop from the comfort of your own home at any time. Just visit our website or stop by our online bookstore. Or better yet, simply find us on Amazon to embark on a transformative shopping experience. New items are added regularly, so remember to always check back. Shop now and embrace the blessings that await you.
Hi friends, we at GLC would like to take a quick moment to thank you for watching our programs on this platform, and we'd like to ask you for a little favor. Would you please go beneath this video and click the subscribe button? Did you know that by simply subscribing to the GLC YouTube channel, you can help us financially support the programs on this platform? You'll need to be signed into YouTube beforehand. But if not, simply click the subscribe button and YouTube will automatically walk you through the steps to sign in or to create an account. By taking these simple steps, you will not only ensure that you continue to receive our unique programming and gain instant access to the hundreds of videos we post, but more importantly, you'll also be telling YouTube that GLC's content is worth watching and promoting. Likewise, if you enjoyed a specific program, please click the thumbs up button below, which also helps inform YouTube that this is a program worth recommending. Finally, once you have logged in and subscribed, please click the notification bell below in order to receive announcements when we post new content. As usual, feel free to post your questions and comments in the comments section below. We always love hearing from our friends and viewers. Again, thank you for watching and supporting God's Learning Channel. We couldn't spread the message of the gospel without you. Be blessed, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Shalom, everyone. Today we're going to do a special update. I know all of you have been following the war, but today we have a special opportunity to really look inside what's happening. We have, of course, Gila's Trebich is with us, and we have Amir Avivi, and he is very, very involved in what is happening. And so I hope that you'll pay attention. We're going to be talking to you about some ways that you can help Israel and support. And so I want to introduce Gila, and Gila can introduce Amir.
Hi, everybody. I'm the GLC home tour guide in Israel, showing everybody around Israel, showing all the biblical sites and all the important places. But I think you know me. Let me tell you just a little bit about Amir. Amir retired from the IDF as a lieutenant general. Is that? I'm sorry. Brigadier General. Brigadier General. Sorry, yeah, Brigadier General. Okay. We have known, actually, GLC has known Amir for a very long, long time. We met him one day on Mount Hermon when he was just a battalion commander, and we kept in touch with him since. We kept loosely, but we kept in touch with him. When he retired from the military, he established a very special organization called Habitkonistim, and it deals with the security of Israel, how to enhance the security of Israel, how to teach everybody what is important for the security. And in a moment, I'll let Amir tell about the organization, about what they're doing. And Amir, let me just tell you, I know that you're doing a lot for the war now, but we are also interested very much in what you're doing all the time with the educational part and with all that you're doing for the security of Israel. Okay, and I believe this is going to be a long-term relationship.
Amazing, Gilas, thank you. And, you know, I had a long career, 30 years in the army, but really two short stories that really impacted me and made me decide to build a Bitchonistim, or as it's called in English, IDSF, Israel's Defense and Security Forum. You know, when I met Gila and I was a battalion commander, it was in Operation Defensive Shield. And I was really in a war with my soldiers, 10 months fighting fiercely Palestinian terrorists in Judea and Samaria. We saw it, you know, it was a time a bit similar to what's going on now. We suffered like 1,000 Israelis were murdered, explosive bombs, suicide bombers, and we launched an offensive campaign in Judea and Samaria to reconquer the whole area, just as we are doing now in Gaza. And we fought for 10 months, day and night. And after 10 months, the command told us, you have 3 weeks to organize. You are going to 10 months more. And I had a chance to speak with my whole battalion, and I had a huge battalion, 800 soldiers. Mm-hmm. And I spoke with them, and I found myself asking them a very strange question to ask an Israeli soldier. How many of you have ever been in Jerusalem? And I find out that half of my battalion has never stepped foot in Jerusalem. And I asked the other half, how many of you have been in the Kotel, in the Wailing Wall? And half of them have never been. So only a quarter of my battalion has actually visited the most important place for the Jewish people. And I understood that there is a huge problem. My soldiers don't know what they're fighting for. And I had only 3 weeks. 1 week was vacation. 1 week we had to organize the equipment. And I decided that in the only week I have for training, and usually to train a battalion like mine was like 4 months, I had 1 week. I said, my battalion is not going to train, it's going to Jerusalem. And I took my whole battalion to Jerusalem for a whole week. And we went to David City, and we went to the Wailing Wall, the Temple Mount, the Old City, the tunnels, and we visited also the new city. And in the last day, 800 soldiers sat at the president's house and talked with the president of Israel, which is, by the way, 1 minute walk from Gila's house.
Right.
And when this battalion went back to operation, it was a completely different battalion, full of energy, full of spirit, and they excelled in combat to such an extent that I didn't lose one soldier in combat. We managed to foil 100% of the attacks. And following that, the chief of staff asked to meet with me, and he asked me, Amir, what's going on with your battalion? And I told him, it's all about spirit. Mm-hmm. It's all about the connection to who we are. This is even more important than a week of training. And following that, I was appointed by the chief of staff to be his aide-de-camp, basically in charge of coordinating in the office of the chief of staff all the operations, intelligence, and international relations of the IDF. And at that time, we were still operating in Judea and Samaria, but things were stabilizing because it was after the operation. And in Gaza, it was living hell. Very fierce fighting. And instead of going and doing what we're doing now, going to Gaza, we take it because Oslo failed completely. One day, me and the chief of staff are sitting in the office, and the secretary comes in and says, you must open the TV, listen to the prime minister. And we hear Prime Minister Sharon saying, I decided to disengage from Gaza. Like, go, in the middle of a war. I'm kicking out 8,000 Jews from their homes and leaving Gaza. And we had a cabinet meeting a week later, and the chief of staff and the head of Shabak told him, listen, Mr. Prime Minister, if you do that, in 1 year, Gaza will become Hamas land, Hezbollah land, Al-Qaeda land.
ISIS.
And he didn't listen. He went forward with his plan, and the society is not understanding the repercussions of what he was doing. And the army 2-3 months later, we left office, and he brought a new chief of staff, and suddenly the army says, no, it's not going to be Hamastan, it's going to be Singapore. There will be peace. And I was thinking to myself, this is crazy. I mean, we know that Hamas is going to take over. We will pay a heavy price for that. But there was not a single voice in the public sphere saying the truth about what is going to happen. So in these two events that I told you now, I learned two things. One, there is a huge problem with the education of the young generation. We're not educating patriotism. We're not educating Zionism. We're not educating connection to the Bible and to who we are as the chosen people. And also, we don't have any checks and balances when it comes to our national security. Any politician can come with the most irresponsible and stupid ideas and sell them to the public, and the public has no understanding, and nobody is telling them what's true, what is not, what should be done and what not, what is needed to secure Israel for generations to come. And I said to myself, one day I will retire and I will deal seriously with these two issues. And this is why I decided to build IDSF. IDSF is a grassroots movement composed of high-ranking officers, commanders, operators from all different Israeli defense establishments. And anybody can join the grassroots movement. We have youngsters, we have high school, we have students, but the leadership is high-ranking officers. And we do three main things that all have to do with really shaping narratives and hearts and minds. We mobilize hundreds of officers to the high schools and to the pre-army programs to educate the young generation, to strengthen their values, their commitment for the country, to be willing to do meaningful service, to understand what are the challenges of Israel and what kind of visions we can put that won't endanger our future. We understand that we have to educate the general society, so we have to dominate national TV and social media. And after 3 years, I can say we are dominating national TV and social media in Israel. And we're a very, very dominant voice. And the third thing we need to do is be able to also shape the policies of decision makers. So I can tell you that this last Thursday, our leadership met for an hour and a half with Netanyahu. And we sat in depth to talk about the strategies and everything that needs to be done in the war and afterwards. And we also, you meet a prime minister in a very difficult moment, like Churchill when he was appointed and the Brits were surrounded by the Germans in Dunkirk, almost being exterminated. Maybe some of you saw the movie Darkest Moment. It's really not an easy moment. So we understood as generals that we don't only need to come and present our vision or our ideas of what should be done. We need to strengthen him. And we put a lot of spirit in the prime minister, and he was so moved that when the meeting finished, we all stood up, and I spotted the head of national security office, and I want to speak with him. And as I'm speaking with him, I feel somebody tipping me in the back. And I turn, and I see Prime Minister Netanyahu, and he hugs me strongly. And he said, Amir, thank you. And he thanked me for strengthening him, for really bringing spirit that enabled him as a leader of a country in war to really rise above the pain and grief and lead the nation to victory. And yesterday, I sat for an hour with a meeting with the Minister of Defense, also discussing this issue. So we are having a huge, huge impact on the young generation, on the general society, but also on decision makers. And it's all connected. It's abilities that really complement each other. I want to say shortly a few words about the war. We have suffered a terrible, terrible attack of murderous terrorists that butchered 1,400 Jews, Israelis, and in a way that is we haven't seen since the Holocaust. And Israel declared war. We haven't done that since the Yom Kippur War.
Right.
And we set a very clear goal. We're going to completely destroy Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. We're going to completely dismantle all their capabilities. And for doing that, we need to conquer all of Gaza. And then we need to dismantle all their capabilities. We're going to kill every single one of the terrorists that are inside there. And we're going to do everything to free the hostages. And we're in very high readiness for a possible war also in the north with Hezbollah, and for anything that might happen inside Israel, with the Israeli Arab Society or the Palestinians in Judea and Samaria. So in the coming week or two, we'll see where all this is going. It's not completely clear, but I can say that this war is bigger than the 6-day war. It's bigger than the Yom Kippur War. It's more similar to the independence war than any other war we had. And it's going to be long. It's going to take many, many months. It might even take a year and more. The Israeli society is fully mobilized with very high spirit. We are all grieving. I mean, we're sad, and you know that really the stories are terrible, but we're also full of strength, and we're a resolute society that wants one thing only: victory. We want a decisive victory over our enemies, and everybody is now full of spirit and ready, and understanding also that we are going to pay prices. It's going to be hard, but we will prevail and win.
Amir, I don't know if you remember meeting me, but I met you back on Mount Hermon back years ago. But what you said about the inspiration you gave to your soldiers of what you are fighting for, and that inspires me. That is exactly how I see, and what I try to do when we take people over is you need to know what this land's about and why it's here. And the war, this viewing audience has responded greatly. They have given and given, but this war, as you said, is not going to be over in a week. It's not going to be over in a month. It's going to be a continuing endeavor. How can we help? What can we do? And what are the needs that are present and coming?
So we have been dealing in the short term a lot with equipment for the soldiers, and we have a whole enterprise and things we are bringing to the soldiers. But at this stage, I can see the Ministry of Defense moving stronger and stronger in the ability to equip our soldiers. So we are also helping the towns that need civil security, and we are assisting with equipment also the towns. But if you ask me really what is the biggest thing we need to do, is fight for the day after. For what Israel do we want the day after? And I think this is a huge opportunity to push visions that will not only secure Israel for generations to come, but also enable us to be prosperous and strong. And there is two kinds of dealing with what will come in the future. One is the discourse of blame, blaming this, blaming that, blaming Netanyahu, Oslo, disengagement, the left, the right. And this kind of discourse is not productive. It's not going to really help. The real issue is to build a vision that will do two things. One, secure Israel for generations to come. And the other is to build also a vision that Israel will not only be secure, but also prosperous and strong, and possibly peace agreements in the Middle East and so on. But first, we need to win the war. We need to win the war, and the most important thing Israel needs now is spirit. They need to hear us. They need to hear the strong generals. I get thousands and thousands of messages of people saying, when you guys speak, when we hear you, we feel safe. We feel under control. It's not that everything we say is optimistic. It's a war. But people want to know that there are people who know what they're talking about, who know what to do, who also have a long-term vision. And I think that you guys, you can support two things. You can tell me, Amir, we want to help with equipment, no problem. We're dealing with that. Or support a vision. Help us win hearts and minds on media, on social media, our research, our videos. And we do very, very inspirational content that really, really assists building the spirit of the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Are there the money that we raise, we're going to be directing a lot of money to your organization, as it comes in, and I love what you're saying. You've got, from what Gila was telling me, in Israel, it's very difficult to get certain materials now because they've been bought up. They've been used, to supply the army. My understanding is that you're able to actually go outside of Israel and to make the purchases that are necessary.
Yeah, definitely. We know how to do that, and we're very effective in doing that.
Importing directly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can tell you that, of course, we received today donations through a PEF, so it's it's a 501c3, and so there's no problem, sending us the money through a 501c3 that we can direct you to. We are building, by the way, our own 501c3, but I guess it will take a few months until we'll be able to utilize this. But for years now, for 3.5 years, we have been using the Central Fund of Israel. They don't charge anything. They give us the money, and it's great.
If people want to donate, they can go to JerusalemTempleStudy.com/donate. And all the money that's raised will be sent over, and they'll make the decision there on how best to use it. And several things that you've said, I think that we can support. We can support financially, and we need to be upfront and do it. And those that haven't, it's time to do it. And those that have, we need to sustain Israel in this time. But secondly, the information and putting out good information and accurate information as to what is actually happening, because there's so many voices, as you mentioned in Israel.
By the way, we do every day at 5 p.m., which is now. And today I'm not doing it, but I do it almost every day because now I have another Zoom. We do a briefing every day. I give a briefing and update what's going on. All you guys need to do is sign to our website, idsf.org.il, and join the webinars. We are bringing the top officers of Israel to explain every day, and even connecting to our forces on the ground what is going on.
Amir.
Okay.
But why don't you tell?
I can say in the meantime that Amir it is true the military has taken over all the tactical, all the military needs. But I get requests all the time for people for warm jackets, for wait, maybe it's Amir, for warm underwear. Okay, he says that he has to leave.
Okay.
He's
Well,
saying,
he's called away. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So we'll continue another time. Okay, he's asking me to apologize in his name, and we'll continue another time. Okay, so that's the request that we're getting. We're getting requests for thermal underwear, and remember, it could start raining any day.
Yeah.
And
Rainy season.
a lot of requests. We bought already a lot of storm suit, a lot of rainproof. And we need some more because there's more battalions. Then suddenly the whole of Barak need resupplying of underwear, thermal underwear. They need storm socks, a lot of socks. They're all asking for that because that's the army doesn't necessarily supply it. It's not high on their. That's more of the civilians always do that. I mean, from time immemorial. I remember we have a song from 1967. The song says, "Prepare me underwear and socks, otherwise I'm fine." That's the underwear, t-shirt, and socks. Morale is very high. Everything's great, but we need that. Okay.
Now, one of the things that Amir mentioned about the at 5:00 Israeli time, there is a daily briefing that you can go to from
very good.
From the website, and so people need to recognize that 5:00 Israeli time is not 5:00 Texas, New Mexico, Arizona time. It's you according to what time zone you're in. Right now, Israel is 7 hours ahead of us, but as of next week, we'll be on this. There'll be an 8-hour time difference from Central Time, 7 from Eastern, and 9 from So you need to adjust. But I would highly recommend that you catch this briefing if you want to have news that is upfront. It is right to the point. Events are happening, as we go through this from day to day. And just before we recorded this broadcast, I got word that Yemen had officially entered the war. It would not surprise anyone if Hezbollah did, and we'll see it expand. But we've got to keep in track with Israel to support. That's our role. That's our job. We need to be able to speak against the anti-Semitism on every front. We need to make known to our politicians what to stand by Israel, let our voices be heard, and we need to reach into our pockets and donate. So, Gila, the attitude of the people. Amir was talking about how the people are together. Have you seen that wavering?
Yeah, absolutely. We still have the voices of the fringes. They're still saying it's all Netanyahu's fault, blame Netanyahu, get him out, in the middle of the war. But it's honestly a small fringe. It's a small fringe. Daily life is very interesting. I mean, I'm today outside of Tel Aviv in Kfar Saba. I'm watching my grandchildren. Thank God Neil is here, so he can watch them now for a half hour when I'm with you. But in the middle of nothing, suddenly there was a siren, and Hamas must have shot about 5 or 6 missiles towards this area. They're all intercepted. We hear them exploding with Iron Dome. But that's part, and and the kids know everything. I mean, these are little kids. One is 8 and one is 5, and they know the drill. They know exactly what to do. They tell us, "Oh, I can hear Iron Dome." They know everything. It's
Okay,
yeah.
we've run out of time, but hopefully
Okay.
we'll be able to get a further interview with Amir and bring people up to date. Please
Amen.
help.
Okay. Very good.